Audible alarms. When you are driving your postal route, if the delivery truck experiences a sudden drop in oil pressure or the engine temperature spikes, a loud warning chime will sound on the dashboard to ensure you do not ignore the problem and destroy the engine. In the world of enterprise information technology, a computer server uses the exact same strategy to protect its critical data. This is what we call an audible alarm. When you are studying for your CompTIA A+ Core 1 certification, you must understand that an audible alarm is completely different from the power on self-test beeps we discussed earlier. The startup beeps happen when the computer first turns on. An audible alarm happens while the computer is actively running and working. To achieve your perfect score of 900, you must be able to listen to these sudden, loud alarms and immediately identify which hardware component is crying out for emergency help. The most common and most critical audible alarm you will hear in a server room comes directly from the redundant array of independent disks, specifically from the hardware storage controller card. In a massive government data center, like the ones you might manage in a future career with the New York State Office of Information Technology Services, the servers are locked inside metal racks in a dark, incredibly noisy room. If a single hard drive fails and a tiny amber light turns on, nobody is going to see it. To make absolutely sure the technicians know a drive has died and the data array is in a degraded state, the hardware controller card has a tiny, built-in piezoelectric speaker. The exact second a drive fails, this speaker emits a loud, piercing, continuous squeal or a highly aggressive rhythmic beeping. When you hear this alarm, your troubleshooting response must be fast and methodical. First, you do not just randomly pull hard drives out of the server to make the noise stop. You must log into the storage management software on the server. The software will display a giant warning message telling you exactly which physical drive bay contains the dead disk. Most enterprise software will also give you a button to temporarily mute or silence the audible alarm so you can think clearly while you work. Once the alarm is muted, your professional repair is to physically locate the correct drive, remove it, and insert a brand new replacement drive so the storage controller can safely begin the mathematical parity rebuild process. Another highly testable source of audible alarms is the uninterruptible power supply. An uninterruptible power supply is a large, heavy surge protector that contains a massive internal battery. If a thunderstorm rolls through NYC and completely knocks out the power to the building, the battery instantly takes over to keep the computers running. When this happens, the power supply will emit a loud, steady beep every few seconds. This alarm is actively warning the user that they are running on limited battery power and need to save their files and shut down the computer immediately. However, if the power in the building is perfectly fine, but the uninterruptible power supply is emitting a short chirp every few hours, it means the internal battery is dying from old age and can no longer hold a charge. To resolve this hardware issue, you must order a replacement battery cartridge and carefully swap it out. Finally, you must be aware of motherboard temperature alarms. Modern motherboards have built-in thermal sensors. If a cooling fan completely fails while the user is rendering a heavy video file, the central processing unit will begin to overheat rapidly. Before the computer resorts to a random shutdown to save itself, the basic input-output system might trigger a continuous, high-pitched siren through the internal case speaker. If you hear this thermal alarm, your immediate troubleshooting step is to check the hardware monitor screen to verify the extreme temperatures, power down the system, and thoroughly inspect the heatsink, the cooling fans, and the thermal paste. By learning to differentiate between a storage array alarm, a battery backup warning, and a thermal siren, you will effortlessly conquer these hardware troubleshooting scenarios on your exam. This completes the major troubleshooting symptoms for storage drives and drive arrays.